A lot of us go through life waiting to be saved, but not realizing that the power to change your life is in your hands and you determine if you're going to be successful or not. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly how you can become the CEO of your life because you already are the CEO of your life. When you change the way you look at yourself, the things you look at begin to change because you're now in control of your life. Let's get into today's video. First of all, let's define who a CEO is. So a CEO is someone who sets the vision and strategy for where the business will go, as well as an action plan. And so in order to be the CEO of your life, you need to think about your vision and the strategy for where you want your life to go. It's funny how so many people, myself included, spend so much time planning our weddings, birthdays, graduations, life milestones, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we don't spend as much time planning for these things than we spend planning our lives. Like, how many people intentionally sit down for months and plan how their life will go? And as a CEO, this is something you need to do. You need to be able to plan your day-to-day actions if you're going to change your life. There's this phrase that no one is coming to save you, and that's because the only limitation placed in your life is you. The only limitation placed on your journey is you. You are the one holding yourself back. And this is something I learned quite early in life, especially when I was in university. I knew I was in control of my life, and if I needed to graduate with certain grades or if I needed to have certain people around me, I knew how to take charge of that in order to control how my life was going to go. And so back in university, I knew the kind of friends I needed to keep. I knew exactly what I needed to do. And back in Nigeria, I went to a public university. I knew the people I would be competing with are my peers from outside the country, my peers in private universities. So I didn't have time to waste on partying, things like that. I didn't do any of that. And this is not to say there's anything wrong with doing that, but you need to be able to look at your life and visualize what you want for yourself. And so back in university, I kept good company because, like they say, bad company corrupts good manners. And this is also something my parents instilled in us while growing up. I remember often my dad and my mom encouraging us to read our books, take school seriously. And I remember them being so supportive right from when I was in primary school. I remember traveling for competitions, out of state competitions. And I remember my dad even dropping me off at the car park. These memories are memories I cherish so much. And it just makes me realize how right from when I was little, I have been on this journey in becoming a better person and becoming the woman that I am today. And so back to what we were saying, a CEO is someone that takes charge of their life. They don't wait for anyone to come and save them because they know exactly what they need to be doing at the right time, especially with the right people. Which leads me to my next point, which is personal branding. It's so important. Not a lot of people think about this, but perception is so important because how many people think about building a personal brand? We say we want to be this career woman, we want to be this, want to be this, want to be that, but not a lot of people actually think about the work that goes into becoming that person. It is hard. Trust me, like it is very, very difficult, but that is what separates the sheep from the goats. Okay, that is what will set you apart from your peers, and that is what is going to determine when people think about you. What do you want them to remember about you? What do you want them to feel when they think about you? You need to think about things like being this SME for particular subjects. So for example, let's break this down. Let's say you are in the university and you are particularly good with this course, let's say mathematics. So you want to be known as the SME, right? The subject matter expert of a particular thing in mathematics. And so in class, you become the go-to person for when people need help with this particular topic in maths. Or let's say you're really good at a particular skill. This is something that comes naturally to you. You are able to even probably monetize it. And bringing this into the workplace, it's so important to be the subject matter expert on certain subjects. For example, with the new wave of AI, you might consider becoming the go-to person for anything AI related in maybe making your workflows easier at work or being being able to use AI to review code, write code, and things like that, or even come up with documentations. The crux of the matter is this is about positioning yourself to be the ideal candidate or the most desirable in a pool of people, because a lot of us forget that the world is a marketplace and it's the most preferred and ideal candidates or persons that make it to the top. And so when we are going through life, I would like to think that there are three categories of how we can structure our lives in order to best perform and bring out the best results in our lives. And so I've broken this down into three. The first one is your personal strategy or vision. The second is your tactical role. And the third is operations. That is your day-to-day. Now, let's start with the first one, which is your personal strategy. So when we talk about personal strategy, this is literally your long-term vision and how you want your life to go. Everyone needs a strategy for how they want their life to go. Otherwise, life will just happen to you and you not happening to life, okay? So first things first is you cannot live your life on your cruise. You cannot not take things serious because life is serious. And this is something that I really love and I'm passionate about the more I learn about it, because our brain is such an amazing organ. It's the fact that there's a phenomenon called neuroplasticity, which is the ability for the brain to learn new things and form new neural connections. And so this really excites me because this means that we can literally train our brains to perform the way we want it to perform. And so the first step is to create a personal vision, a vision that clearly captures what you want your life to look like and clearly articulates what you want in life. And this vision should cover every aspect of your life. I'm talking about spiritual, relationships, family, community, your career, your income, lifestyle, everything about you. This vision needs to capture all of that, because having a vision is a starting point to controlling your life. And the thing is, you create things twice, first in your mind and then physically. A personal vision creates that emotional link and ties to your business or career goals, which makes it worth pursuing. Otherwise, why should you do it in the first place? You would have no reason to get up in the morning and pursue your dreams. Like that vision, when you look at it every day, you visualize where you want to be. Like that provides the emotional ties to you pursuing your goals. Which brings me to my next point, which is tactical role, which is a short-term plan for the year. Having a plan to achieve your vision and professional goals has so many benefits. However, I've categorized this into three main benefits. Having a plan saves time, it reduces mistakes, and most importantly, it provides focus. Planning allows you to think through in advance the best possible approach to achieve your goals. I'm a software engineer, and one thing we do is sprint planning. A sprint usually takes 2 to 4 weeks. The team comes together to plan the amount of work that we're going to do for like the next 2 to 4 weeks. We define the sprint goals. We identify the tasks that we want to achieve. We estimate the effort, that is the effort is going to take per task, who is going to take what responsibility. So we assign responsibility to these tasks that we've identified that we need to do, and we have regular stand-ups to review and adjust, and at the end of that sprint we close it and the cycle repeats itself again. I've shared a video on how to set clear and measurable goals, so if you would like to watch it, the link will be somewhere up here, so make sure you check it out. Studies have shown that planning saves time and resources, but this may seem paradoxical because a lot of us, myself included, feel that if we are not constantly doing something, then we are not productive, when in reality planning is one of the best ways to spend your time, also one of the most productive way you can do that. Planning keeps you focused on important items, which will keep you on track to your purpose. And this brings me to my third point, which is operational day-to-day activities. Now we have our vision, we have our strategy, we've come up with the plan. The next thing we want to think about is how this affects us day to day. So what are we doing to achieve these goals that we've set? The greatest predictor of your future lies in your daily actions. And this is so true, because I want you to take a moment and think about your life and think about what you're constantly doing every day, your habits every day. You would be able to predict what your future would look like if you continue to do the same exact things that you're doing currently. And so it can be a refreshing thing if you are doing the right things, but it can be quite scary because in the next 5 to 10 years, you are able to see exactly what your life is going to look like. This is for everyone, whether you are a student, a professional, a doctor, anything, or a business person. If you want to graduate with a first class and good grades, look at your daily actions. Are you doing the things that an A student is supposed to be doing? Upskilling and doing the things that you need to do to move professionally. And as a business, are you doing the things that a successful business person is supposed to do? Do you have good bookkeeping? Do you have a good team? Do you have a good marketing strategy? Things like that. So what are you doing daily to achieve these goals that you've set? So we've spoken about personal branding, and working on our day-to-day activities would help us get where we want to get to, because there is power in consistency. Now, if you're not doing any of these things, I don't want you to panic or talk to yourself negatively, because we talk to ourselves a lot. We're always in our heads, and most of the talk that we do is self-criticism and mostly negative. I should have done this better. I should be doing this. I could have done this instead of that. I'm not good enough. I'm too thin. I'm too fat. I'm not smart. I need to lose weight. I'm dumb. Things like that. And where does that get you? So let's think about this for a second. What if the CEO of YouTube, Neil Mohan, what if he's thinking that YouTube is trash, that YouTube is a terrible company, we are not good enough, we'll go nowhere? Where would YouTube go with a CEO like that? And so where do you expect to go with a CEO like you? So that's a question you need to answer, and you need to replace the negative thoughts with the positive self-talk. So begin to tell yourself that I can do this. There is nothing I cannot do. I can achieve this goal. I can get straight A's. I can get that promotion. I can get that job. I can start that business. I will start that business. These are the kind of thoughts that you want to be telling yourself. I am brave. I am audacious. I am beautiful. I am smart. So as soon as you start to think something negative in your head, immediately replace it with something positive about yourself. Never dwell on negative thoughts. And I am certain everyone has something positive about themselves, a skill that you know how to do that no one knows how to do exactly the way you do it. It could be anything. And this could be a skill that you have that the next person doesn't have. The best thing you can do for yourself is to acknowledge when you achieve certain goals and actually celebrate your accomplishment, because we tend not to do that. We tend to achieve a goal, achieve something, and quickly move on. We keep moving the goalposts without celebrating our milestones and dwell on the negatives. And this is why it's so important to measure your goals. I've spoken about this in a previous video, but you can watch it. It's going to be linked somewhere here. And measuring your goals does so many things for you, because you are able to keep track of your leading and lagging indicators. You are able to keep track of your numbers, because just imagine a CEO of a company does not know his numbers or her numbers. It's not different. You, as a CEO of your life, you also need to know your numbers. And when I say lag indicators, I mean this is like the end goal that you're trying to achieve. So for example, higher income, lower body fat percentage, a first class in school, that promotion, those are the lagging indicators. Lead indicators are the ones that produce the end results. And so activities could involve studying every day in terms of getting that promotion, being able to network in your company, and being able to network both horizontally and vertically upwards. And so the most important thing you can measure is your activities, your day-to-day activities, your execution plan. Having a way to measure your goals and having your numbers is such an important thing, because it keeps you in control. It helps you know when things break down and how to fix them immediately. This is so powerful, and power is something that you don't want to leave in the hands of someone else. You want to be in control of power over your life. Never give anyone power over you, especially with their negative beliefs or negative talks, because people's words don't define who you are. I remember when I was in university, I had a bit of issue with someone, and this person's mom tried to victimize me, telling me absurd things, like things that as a young girl I've never heard. She called me different names. I chose not to internalize it. I chose not to make that my reality, because this is someone that said to me that I would never amount to anything good. That I was, for lack of better words, like I was someone that would sleep with men for grades, which is so absurd. This is someone that said really mean things to me as a girl, as a young teenager, that I would never amount to anything good in life, that my future was not going to be great. And she said so many things, and I just feel like she was projecting, because now that I think about it, she was a pretty sad person. And so sad people make other people sad, or rather, like hurt people hurts people, right? Now I think about it, she probably was not happy with her life, or was not happy with where she was in her life, and was just projecting on me. And thank God that I did not internalize this. I was smart enough to know that her words did not define who I was going to turn out to be. So what I'm trying to say is that you've got the power because you are the CEO of your life. They have their own power because they are the CEO of their own lives. You cannot control or dictate the opinions of other people, but you can control how it affects your own life. Like, that's the only thing you can control, because there would always be people who don't like you because of your hair, because of your face, because of your skin, because of your voice. Some people don't even like your voice. Okay, I saw a video recently and someone did not like her because of her teeth. Like, make it make sense. And so you can't please everyone. The best you can do is to love yourself, be a decent person to other people, and focus on your own business. In becoming the CEO of your life, you're able to control your life and determine what happens to you, and not just wait for life to happen to you. In being the CEO of your life, you take back control and demand what life gives back to you. In summary, what I want to say is, stop reacting to life and start running it. And if you want to know how to set smart goals and measurable goals, do click on the link over here and that will take you to the video, or it's going to be on the screen somewhere here. Because you already are the CEO of your life, you begin to determine the things you focus on, and you're able to preserve your energy, and not everything that happens requires your reaction to it. You are able to protect your time. And if you need help with planning your goals, I do have a video. It's going to be somewhere on the screen or linked up here. Do check it out, and also share this video with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. I'll see you in my next video.